All right. So today we're going over cardio, what you need to do, what you don't need to do, how to have it aid for you in fat loss. Yeah, basically just the ins and outs of cardio and not doing too much, but also not doing enough, and what actually is the purpose of it. A lot of people will get this wrong. So I wanted to dive into it today. So, first off, how to lose fat without doing hours of cardio. Cardio has a reputation as the ultimate fat loss solution, but the truth is definitely more nuanced. So, while cardiovascular exercise is obviously vital for heart health, it doesn't have to be the cornerstone of your weight loss strategy. Most people struggle with the fat loss not because they're skipping cardio, but because they're missing out on the bigger picture. And I will be the first to admit, and it's still not good because obviously cardio is good for your heart health, like we just talked about. But whenever I've done some of my biggest cuts, I have not done any cardio or barely any at all because truthfully, I hate cardio. I'm trying to do it more now for health purposes, not for the fat loss purposes, but that's what I want to get into today. Everybody thinks that they need to be doing it forever. So, first off, the myth: fat burning versus fat loss. So what people believe is, and you've definitely heard this advice: walk on an incline at 12% grade, 3% or 3 miles per hour for maximum fat burning. This has become gospel in fitness circles, with many influencers swearing by the fat burning zone. Now, the problem: there's a crucial difference between using fat for energy during exercise and actually losing body fat over time. Just because you're using it as energy doesn't mean you're losing fat. So, the reality is your body is constantly switching between fuel sources throughout the day. Just because you're burning fat during a workout doesn't guarantee that you're going to lose body fat overall. What matters is your total calorie balance over time, not which fuel source you're tapping into during a specific exercise section, as that's such a small burn of your calories throughout the whole day. So, the real driver of fat loss, like we said, calorie deficit, and the only way to lose fat is consume fewer calories than you burn, complete non negotiable, and no amount of cardio can overcome consistently eating above your maintenance calories. So, cardio's role: cardio should aid in fat loss by increasing your daily expenditure. It's a supporting actor, but it's definitely not the star of the show. So, the real hero is your consistent calorie deficit. And the bottom line: if you're in that deficit, you'll lose fat with or without cardio. Cardio just makes it easier to create and maintain that deficit while also improving your health. Do you even need cardio? So, the amount of structured cardio you need depends entirely on your lifestyle. Many people overestimate how much cardio they actually need for fat loss. If you have an active job, if you're in a blue collar job, typically construction, or if you're doing things like nursing, retail, food service, where you're just on your feet all day, you're already burning plenty of calories. You're already increasing your heart rate and working on your heart health a little bit. You don't need additional cardio sessions for fat loss. Now, if you have a sedentary job where you're not moving very much during the day, desk workers need to be more intentional. Invest in a walking pad, take walking breaks, schedule short walks during lunch. Small, consistent movements add up. That doesn't mean you have to go bust out your cardio all in one session for an hour. You could take a 15-minute walk in the morning, take a 15-minute walk at lunch, and take a 15-minute walk after dinner. And boom, you've got 45 minutes of cardio done for the day. The key is matching your activity to your lifestyle, not forcing yourself into hours of cardio that you'll eventually quit. The step count strategy. So, aim for a minimum daily step count. Instead of structured cardio sessions, you can focus on accumulating steps throughout your day. This approach has definitely seemed to be more sustainable, low stress, and effective for both health and creating a calorie deficit. I say 7 to 10,000 steps a day. If you're, a sedentary individual and you are sitting at your desk all day, and at the end of the workday you're only at 1,000, 1,500 steps, it's going to be a little bit harder for you to get to that 10,000 mark. So that's why we lay the lower at like 7,000. But I think it's a solid target for general health and just fat loss support in general. Now, like we said, you can break it up by different walks. Um, and it can count towards your daily calorie burn without feeling like exercise. Definitely more sustainable long term. Why everyone thinks they're failing. The cardio trap. So people believe that they can't lose fat because they don't have time for these long sessions. They see fitness influencers spending 60 to 90 minutes on the Stairmaster and think, I could never do that, which I could not do that either. The Stairmaster sucks. I can last on the thing for maybe 20 minutes and you can, call me a bitch, whatever. I will not stay on that thing for more than 20 minutes. So they don't even start or they burn out after 2 weeks of forced cardio torture. The truth, you don't need hours of cardio. You need a calorie deficit, some basic movement. That's it. The rest is optional and should only be if you genuinely enjoy it. Cardio should aid in your fat loss and not be the primary driver. And this mindset shift definitely changes everything. So I always say pick the cardio that you actually enjoy. Everybody's focused on that incline walk or doing the stairmaster. Like I get that all the time when people start up with me. They're like, "Do I need to be doing 30 to 45 minutes of the stairmaster today? Do I need to be doing this type of cardio? Blah 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 blah." And I want cardio to benefit you, but not feel like a punishment. Like yes, if you're working on bodybuilding and you're on prep right now, we might throw in some cardio that I'm going to actually schedule for you. But other than that, for day to day life and fat loss, we want this to be sustainable long term. So that's where I want you to find things that you actually enjoy doing. So whether that's going for a walk, cycling, playing sports like pickleball, tennis, basketball, competitive things that make cardio feel like play and not work. Swimming, full body workout with zero impact, definitely good for those hot climates or recovering from energy. But at the end of the day, like I said, the best cardio is the one you'll actually do consistently. There's no optimal choice if you hate doing it. And don't eat back your calories. I see this mistake all the time too. You do 30 minutes of cardio, your fitness watch says you burned 300 calories, and you eat an extra snack to refuel. Now you've canceled out your cardio session entirely. Like, what was the point of doing the cardio then? Just so you could satisfy yourself for a 300 calorie snack that you didn't need? So the smart approach, I think, is maintain your planned calorie deficit regardless of how much you burn during that session. Of course, unless you are a marathon runner and you just ran 15 miles, then you're probably going to need to refuel yourself. But let the let the cardio calories almost act as like a bonus that's going to accelerate your fat loss and increase your deficit a little bit rather than adding that back and then maybe having the same deficit or maybe being off a little bit because those calorie tracking watches, cardio machines are notoriously inaccurate, often overestimate burns by like 20 to 30%. So don't trust that number and eat it back. You could even take yourself out of a deficit if it's off by so much. So, your action plan for fat loss: establish your deficit. This is your foundation. Calculate your maintenance calories, eat 3 to 500 below it. If you have a lot of weight that you need to lose, or if it's right at the beginning, I would even say expand on that a little bit just because you want to get the ball rolling a little bit faster. Or if you have more to lose, then go into a 750 calorie, 800 calorie deficit. For other people, I mean, if your goal is to lose 10 pounds, you could realistically do that in like 2 weeks if you did a more aggressive deficit. So that's always an option too. But hit your daily step goal. Aim for 7,000 to 10,000 steps. Obviously, if you go above that, totally fine. I'm just saying minimum 7 to 10,000. Active breaks, general movement. This supports health, burns calories without the formal cardio. Add optional cardio that you enjoy. Choose 2 to 3 sessions per week of activities you actually like walking, cycling, sports, swimming. Keep it fun, keep it sustainable. For me, I'll usually play basketball like twice a week just so I can get some cardio in, work on my heart a little bit, and then don't eat back those exercise calories. Let the cardio be a bonus. Maintain that deficit. Ignore what your fitness tracker says you burned. Like my Fitness Pal, I know it tries to add in the calories back after you taking into your step count, I always subtract that off. Just stay consistent with your planned intake. You don't need to suffer for fat loss. Cardio should aid in fat loss, not be the driver. Again, if you haven't noticed, really hammering that home here. So stop letting the myth of no cardio, no fat loss hold you back. You don't need to spend hours on a treadmill. You don't need to spend 30 minutes on a Stairmaster. You need a sustainable calorie deficit, daily movement, patience. Add cardio if it improves your health and you enjoy it, but never because you think it's the only way to lose fat. Pick activities you like, maintain that deficit, and the fat will come off. And that's pretty much sums up the cardio. So just going through that again, like it's not a must. Is it good for your health? Yes, but that doesn't mean that you have to do it, or that's the only way to do it. And if you want an example of this, I'll leave the link below to my client Max's transformation, where I show how he went from over 25% body fat to shredded six pack, getting on a bodybuilding stage in 5 months. And I never scheduled cardio for him. Never scheduled cardio for him. So I'm going to leave that link below. Go ahead and check that out. Definitely a good watch.